Now seems like a really great time to tell you exactly what it took for me to get these finished copies of Sing the Night over the last 10-ish years in publishing, while I slowly lift them out of the box and put them in stacks. So the first thing is that I have always been a writer. I was a writer in high school. I founded the Writers Circle in my high school. And then I got really into musical theater and decided to go off track from my life plan of going to college for creative writing. And instead, I went to college to study music. Now, during my time in college studying music, I learned pretty quickly that music is math and I hate it. And that juries are terrible because you are literally paying someone to just be mean to you about your singing. And I really, really struggled until during college, I took a creative writing class, and it was like breathing after drowning. It was like coming home. Getting back into writing was such a transformative part of my college career, but it happened right at the end. I had already finished all of my required courses for my music degree. I just had some gen eds left, and I had some room for some electives, so I added in an English minor and spent my last year of college just doing writing. And so by the time I graduated, I knew that I wanted to get my master's. That was something that I was very interested in, that was important with me. I got guidance on from some of my professors before I left. And then I went off into the world. Now, I should note that I got married my junior year of college, and then was married my senior year of college, and we had our first baby the year after I graduated. So, well, I just knocked something over. So I had to find an MFA program where we weren't going to have to move, and that was going to be child friendly. So I did the research. I ended up at UCR Palm Desert's low residency MFA program. It was the only program I applied to. I decided that if I got in, I would attend, and if I didn't, I was going to figure out how to be a writer on my own. I did get in, and it totally changed my life. It propelled me forward in my writing in a way I could only ever imagine. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made. And by the time I graduated from that program, I had written 4 books in the program, and signed with my first literary agent before graduation. And so it seemed like I was on track. Spoiler alert, I was not. Publishing is a nightmare. And so during this time, after I graduated with my fancy New York literary agent, I was writing. We edited the book for 3 years, which was a bit of a red flag in retrospect, and we went on sub. That book was the book of my heart. I still love it. I still want it to live someday, but it went and died on sub. So after that, I decided to leave that literary agent, and I signed with I wrote a terrible book with great vibes but no plot called Soap and Sorcery, which is an Anne of Green Gables type fantasy before cozy fantasy was cool. And that book did not get an agent, but that book did helped me learn a lot and grow. And once that didn't sign, I started on another project, the project that would become Sing the Night. It was called Stranger Than You Dreamt. And I spent like 6 months writing that, and then subsequently queried it, and got 3 R&Rs in 1 week, and decided to follow those R&Rs because they all said the same thing. So I hopped in, rewrote it, and then once again sent it out. One of the agents that I sent it to is my current agent. She read the book in 3 days and offered. It turned into a multiple offer situation. And then we did some edits and went on sub, and it sat on sub for 1.5 years. It was on sub for 1.5 years, a devastating 1.5 years in which I felt like it was never going to happen. And then finally it did, with Eighth Note Press, and I was thrilled and very excited to work with them. But they were a new publisher, so that came with some risks. And as it turns out, the risks were true. 5 months before publication, they shut their doors and the rights reverted, and I was in this position where I had done everything. I had turned in past pages, I had arcs, there's a stack of my 8th note arcs there, and now the rights were mine again, and we had to figure out what came next. Luckily, my agent is so quick on her feet, and we ended up sending it out again, and within 2 weeks, I had an offer. I actually found out about the offer while I was in the hospital having my daughter, who is now 7 months. And that offer turned into an auction, which turned into a life-changing deal with Grand Central Publishing. And now I have a book. Now I have a real book that comes out in less than a month. And the crazy thing about all this is all that sounded really fast. It wasn't. It was 10-ish years of me seeking and working and spending all my nights and my weekends and free moments dreaming and writing and trying to be better and reading all of the books and reading every craft book and going to events and networking and just trying to have my dreams come true, minute by minute, page by page, book by book. And I didn't give up, even though during the crash out period after my book deal was canceled, I really genuinely considered it for the first time, but I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad I kept writing. I'm so glad I kept dreaming. And I hope that this inspires you if you are on the struggle bus for writing, because dreams do come true. And one of the ways you can help them come true is if you keep working and you never give up.